Hey everyone, I recently watched Scream 6 and let's just say that I had some problems with it. This installment of the Scream franchise follows the latest Ghostface killings as the four survivors from the previous film leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh new chapter in New York City. I'm going to preface this review by saying I have only actually ever seen the original Scream film. I really wanted to watch Scream 5, I just didn't have the time to watch 2, 3, 4. So I watched Scream 5, and then I just thought because I watched Scream 5, I'll watch 6 as well, as I thought it was meant to be this soft reboot. This might be a mistake on my part, so let me know if the others are worth watching. The belief I had that it was a soft reboot wasn't very accurate because they rely very, very heavily on nostalgia, which I think is one of the downsides of these films, and I'll get onto later. When I watched Scream 5, I was really optimistic. Jenna Ortega was just gaining popularity and I'd liked her in everything I'd seen her in. I loved her performance in X and The Fallout, and I was really excited to see what she could bring to the Scream universe. However, I was very underwhelmed with Scream 5 as it felt like there were occasional glimpses of a good film mixed in with, at some points, a terribly acted and really poorly written film. I won't get into all the problems I had with the previous entry in this video, as I've got enough problems with that one and this video is just dedicated to Scream 6. But I will say that Scream 5 is one of the only films that I've actually watched where I kept thinking to myself, I actually don't like this. Most of the time I'll watch a film and I'll see redeeming qualities in it. And my mistake, I was still optimistic with Scream 6 after its release and hearing good critic reports. But sadly I didn't enjoy this one all that much either. One of the best thing about the original 90s masterpiece is that the self-aware aspect of it isn't too overwhelming. However, in these previous two films, especially 5, it's just way too much. The writers are almost ramming the meta-ness and self-aware factor down your throat, and it sort of just gets a bit annoying. In Scream 6, they do it less, but it's still done in a very annoying and tedious way. It just left me saying do something different for once, and that's what I was thinking throughout this whole film. Just do something different. Throughout this film, the character Mindy repeatedly mentions how franchises are meant to subvert expectations, and now that this film universe has progressed, everything has changed. However, I didn't really find any subversions in this film. Everything's more or less the same as it was in Scream 5. She says how legacy characters can now die and that everybody should be scared, but this isn't something new as Dewey literally died in the last film. Mostly all of the problems I had with Scream 6 stem from the writing. The dialogue and line delivery is really quite bad, actually making me cringe multiple times. The amount of stiffly performed one-liners in this film is crazy. Not only is the dialogue bad, but the writing is just kind of rubbish. There are so many moments and plot points that don't make sense at all and are just in the film because the writers thought it would be cool. I'll go through a few of these that stood out to me most now. Obviously there's a lot of them, so I'll only mention a few here. Towards the start of the film and one of the first attacks, Annika gets stabbed and is profusely bleeding out of her stomach. Yet she can climb the ladder connecting the two flats. And there's no blood coming out of her stomach anymore. Also, where did the other guy get the ladder from? That doesn't make sense. Another plot hole was Mindy tells the person that she suspects is the killer to leave her alone at the train station. And to me this doesn't make sense because then she's giving the killer time to go away, get changed and come back and kill her. And Mindy's meant to be this super horror fan that knows all of the tropes. It doesn't make sense as to why she'd do that, she's just setting herself up to get killed. Tara says before killing Wayne,
"My father was a murderer. I'm better than that."
But then just goes on to brutally kill him. All of these plot points just really don't make sense to me, and I was watching thinking, it all just feels like a jumbled mess of ideas. Let me just say, fake deaths actually suck. They are so annoying. I don't know why the filmmakers felt the need to almost have all of the deaths in this film to be overruled. 1, it takes away from any emotional punch that this film has, and 2, it also lowers the emotional stakes of future films as the audience will now just expect the main characters, or as they call it in the film, the Core 4, to survive whatever happens to them. Chad gets stabbed an uncountable amount of times, which I actually thought was a pretty good death, and I didn't expect it to actually happen. But yet, somehow he's still alive at the end of the film.
How are you alive?
Mindy is also alive after getting stabbed in the stomach. Oh, and don't worry, Gale is also still alive. The way that the characters react to some of the deaths also don't really make sense. Tara and Sam share a jolly sister bonding moment after killing 3 Ghostfaces, and it takes Tara what feels like it should be a good 30 minutes in the actual Scream universe time to realise what happened to Chad, who she had a crush on for a long time and had only just confessed her love for him before he died. Oh, but never mind, because as soon as Tara remembers him and starts crying, the paramedics bring him out with a breathing mask. Surprise, he's still somehow alive, and we're just meant to buy that Tara didn't even go and check on him? Enough with the nostalgia bait. We get it, this is a long-running franchise. I can't speak for all of the audience, but I don't constantly need Easter eggs and callbacks from previous films to keep me entertained. In this film, the characters literally visit a warehouse that is filled with memorabilia from previous entries in the franchise. It's a shrine almost. All of the old Ghostface outfits and props worn by the killers are there. This inherently doesn't work because the whole purpose of the Ghostface costume in the first film was that it was a generic Halloween costume. Yet, in this film, all the characters seem to know which specific mask belongs to which character from each of the films. For some reason, the writers felt the need to constantly reference previous films and rely on them rather than focus on the current films. Remember this from Scream 1, remember this, remember this, remember this. That is exactly what it's like watching this film, and it's just so tiring. Overall, Scream 6 isn't very good, in my opinion at least. It features some good kills, and the gore is well done and quite creative at some points. However, ultimately it's just another sloppy film that I feel has many faults in the script. The acting is at points uncharismatic, and not to put the blame on one performance in particular, but I don't think Melissa Cabrera, who plays our lead in this film, gives a convincing enough performance, and I didn't think she did in Scream 5 either. Whether this is because of the script that she was given or what, I don't know. Both films, I couldn't grasp why she was the lead, and I just think her performance is somewhat of a boring performance compared to Jenna Ortega's performance. The dialogue is clumsy, and as I said before, it's downright cringy at some points. Yeah, I didn't like it very much, and I think this might be the final nail in the coffin for me watching the Scream franchise as it goes forward, which is kind of annoying because I watched Scream 5 and I really didn't like it, as I said before. But then this one, the trailer came out and I was looking forward to it. I wanted to watch this. Everyone around me was giving it praise, and it just fell for the same things that Scream 5 did, and I had the same problems with this one as I did with the previous film. I don't know, I think that's me done for these future Scream films. So yeah guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave in the comments what you thought about Scream 6. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And yeah, I will see you in the next video.